You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good game. Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, and now streaming live on Ustream, this is AFTERBUZZ TV for the game. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip about the game. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, picking up where the show leaves off and the buzz continues.
It's the game.
You finally got it right.
Shut up, Kenny. Hello, everybody. Welcome to AFTERBUZZ TV, the game edition. We are in season 5, episode 6. The Tricks episode?
That's what, yeah.
It was called the Tricks episode?
Yes, it was.
Whatever. Okay, I guess we'll discuss what the hell that means in a minute. But joining me.
I got it.
Okay, well then you'll have to explain it to us in a minute.
Okay.
But I'm not going to introduce you yet. So those of you out there joining us for the first time, my name is Courtney Stewart, and I'm so glad that you could join us. We are feeling a loss today, right now, because we are missing one of our partners at the table, Curtis Taylor, wherever you are out there tonight on Valentine's Day. Doing something dirty, doing something nasty.
Probably with the goat.
We miss you. You are on our minds, but he is not at the table. But either way, we still have fabulousness at the table, and that fabulous's name is Isabel Mora.
Hi.
Welcome. And sitting beside Isabel Mora is something not so fabulous, but still existing.
You know what? This is
and
Valentine's
looking real
Day.
surly. Why are you so surly today, Kenny?
I have so much love for you today.
I know,
It's Valentine's
you
Day.
should.
I'm even wearing
give
a
him
slight
props.
red
You
for you.
kind of
Actually,
wore
that
red.
way,
I
yeah.
do. I was thinking
Yes.
when you came out of the restroom, like, OMG, Kenny put on color.
I do have a few color in my
I'm
my
surprised you don't
closet.
wear more color. It does wonders for your skin tone.
So I'm your other host, Kenny Harrison.
Kenny Harrison. Oh, I never actually said your name
I
today.
know.
I'm
It's
sorry.
fine. I'm sure they can see it on
I
the bottom of
wonder.
the screen.
Yeah, right there. You can see that is Kenny Harrison joining
Yes.
us. And we have a special person joining us. Well, he's not a special person. That sounds bad.
He's not short bus.
He's not a short bus special person.
my
No.
God.
But joining us in the booth this week, we have Mr. Ronnie.
Ouch! What's up, you guys?
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
We had to share that's the voice you may hear sometimes if you don't see him.
Yeah, no, I figured it out. I was able to put a picture of myself real
got a
quick.
picture?
But now
Okay,
I'm gonna
good.
go back to pretty Courtney, and then
Good.
we'll be all.
You're
I
so
learned my
sweet.
boom.
You want to save your lenses. Don't use
Stop,
hot sauce around.
Kenny. And Kenny, I did hair and makeup for you today because I wanted to impress you. I said I want to come here and I want to do
is that
RuPaul's
what
Drag
makeup
Race.
looks like?
Yeah.
Oh, you're so mean to me. Anyway, I'm not mad, Trick. That's
Happy
why you
Valentine's
understand. Why don't you
Tricks.
explain? Oh, yes. Oh, I want to thank Phil Svitek.
Yeah.
If it was your idea to get the Wonka Fun Dips,
Yeah.
I love you
Oh,
because
I didn't get
I freaking love Fun
You
Dip
have
and I've
mine.
loved Fun Dip since I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I put my Fun Dip in my drink.
That's not all she put in that drink, y'all.
I put the stick in there too.
That's-
Anyway.
I'm sure. Am I allowed to say this, or should we just
It's
let that roll?
Valentine's Day.
We
Be
all know
sweet
what
and
goes
smile
on.
and hold hearts. Because it's Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day out there to everybody.
Yes.
And again, as I said before, this is the game, so we should actually discuss the game at some point. And since Kenny has decided that he actually understands the definition
The
of the name of the
title.
episode, why don't you explain that to us, Boo Boo?
Well, the whole trick was the trick with the football at the beginning. That was why it's called the Tricks episode,
But that's one trick. Why is it plural?
because you were watching, so you would be the second trick.
Oh
How about that? That's all I got.
For those of you out there who want to hate Kenny right now and would like his mic to be turned off, understand that I accept him for who he is and that we have a bond, and therefore some of his ridiculousness is acceptable,
Well,
and that was one of.
This
his
is what
ridiculous
happens when I
moments.
don't get a nap before the show.
He sounds like he is a freaking caterpillar about to die and never turn into a butterfly because you sound like death. Can you not? We
Yeah.
want to be excited.
I deal with this all day, so at
This
the
is the
end
game.
of the
Not
day,
you
I'm
They
too.
work
over it.
together.
Not you
I'm
too.
over it.
Can
at
you
the
look
end.
vibrant, please? This was
I
an
am
exciting
vibrant.
episode. There was a lot going on this week.
Well, you wake me up when you talk about something exciting.
Were you not excited?
No.
Is that your initial
No.
impression?
I normally will get through an episode and okay, and this I only laughed once, and that was at something that wasn't funny.
Okay, I can see that, but you don't feel like, at least when you were not laughing, they were sort of moving some
had-
interesting points
yes.
along at least? Because I
You know
felt
what's
like
getting
that
to me?
was going on.
Do you know what's really getting to me is the fake laugh track. That it's really like every time I hear it, I just get pulled out of whatever's going on. I don't know, and you can't do without it because then
There's no laugh track
Right.
at all.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
surprised. I actually loved this episode. I thought it was giving me
Why you
more.
got- she's allowed to have an opinion.
no.
You don't have to look at her
I was
like
just
that.
actually wondering if we saw the same episode.
Oh.
Yes.
Why did you
We
love
do
it?
have different.
I,
Yeah, I would like to know.
no, we usually tend to agree. Most
We've
of
all
the
been
time.
fairly consistent with
I
agreeing
understand
that it hasn't been great.
maybe
Well,
we
here's the
didn't
first
laugh
time
as
where I
much.
disagree. Go ahead. I want to hear.
Maybe we didn't laugh as much, but I felt like there were strong points that, it just made the show go on to the next episode. Mm-hmm. Like, I feel like the first 5, 3, 4, we were kind of like, what's going to happen next? Because there's really no storyline, and it was just all over the place. I did miss Jason.
Yes,
but
we always miss
It
Jason.
still managed to make sense and kind of...
I'm just kidding. You're married.
And
Go
it's
on.
Valentine's Day, so can you be faithful
That's
for
true.
tonight?
And she's got like 2 sets of twins. Get it, girl. Take care of your woman. Anyway, sorry. I agree with you.
I
agree
felt
with
like
you as
now
well.
there's a storyline, and
What is that
the
storyline?
next episode should make sense. I mean, there's something starting, so
I feel like
I feel
this
there's
was
gonna
a
be something
setup
to
for
tie it up.
some more to come.
Yes.
And like,
It's
go ahead.
well, I was gonna say it's setting up for drama, and I don't.
Yes,
want,
but that still was a part of the show. It's just how they did
Definitely.
it. Because if you remember, I remember my favorite episode or my biggest memory from the game was an episode after Melanie and Derwin had broken up. I think it was in the 3rd season when she actually was bringing a gift for his baby to the house.
Yes.
And there was that episode, it didn't have a lot of the comedy. It had the same like back and forth kind of going on, but it was sort of a setup of what the dramatic part and the important part of the relationships actually were. And it was dramatic. It still fit with the flow of the show, but it was still a point that helped them continue to move and build on the awkwardness of being in a relationship with
Right.
somebody that has now had a child with somebody else. And those elements kind of came in. And I feel like this was the first episode that I felt that kind of drama as opposed to this like contrived, piss poor, the drug addict girl laying on the steps crying. And it felt uncomfortable and ridiculous and awkward.
It didn't
and
fit in there.
it didn't fit. And I feel like this was the first time I kind of feel that dramatic energy because that's why I like the game. There was always drama.
Yeah.
There was always crap going down and going on.
But it was more done in a lighthearted sense.
It
Even
was-
with the whole steroids, I actually like that kind of like dramatic point too. But it was
Don't you feel
done.
like we have enough of other shows that just point all the drugs and everything, and this has never really been one of those shows that gives us messages like that.
Well,
I mean, it was going in different areas, but now let's go back to what the game used to be, where there was drama.
Well, no, but
funny.
they always touched on like even the one gay episode they touched on it like briefly. I mean, they touch on little things briefly, but like I don't get the whole big. There's this buildup of this big dramatic something that's supposed to happen. I wonder if it's gonna
Oh, I
happen.
kind of feel like that's part of the game.
Well, and I feel
It
like
has been
they're,
part of the game.
and I feel like they did. I mean, as much as it wasn't like laugh out loud funny, I still feel like they threw in the like jokes and the boys are back together and they're having a good time and that energy still existed. It just wasn't as good as it's been in the past.
Right.
But it still existed. So I feel like for the first time, I felt at least in terms of their dealing with the drama, it felt more organic and it felt more honest to what the game is supposed to be as opposed to what I've seen
I
in
just
the
feel
past.
in the 20 minutes of the screening that so many 180s just happened like out of nowhere. Like her changing her mind about Tasha. That just kind of happened during a commercial break.
Well, I
And
don't
the
feel that
boys-
way about Tasha. I feel that way about the boys, though. I
But
don't
that's what
know
I'm
where
saying.
that came from.
Well, no, at the beginning of the episode, she's like, we're not talking to her, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden she's meeting with TT at the bar and now they want to be like.
Well, I
what
think that was because she's trying to play Derwin's game because, she brings up like, you're using Malik, aren't you?
says-
And he says, yes. And she recognized that, oh, I need to be on this team because that's all she does is follow and try to fit in what Derwin has going on. So I think that's where her change came. My confusion was I didn't really understand completely the boys changing until he said, oh, I am using Malik. And then it kind of made a little bit more sense, but I don't like that I went most of the episode and then he says this and we're like, why are they buddy? Literally 1 episode ago, they were at Jason's show like, I don't like that fool. I don't talk to him. And now they're like,
Best friends.
this.
Yeah.
So that kind of came from nowhere, but I kind of see what they were trying to
I'm
do.
confused.
You're confused. But anywho, we sort of already touched on it. One of the big issues of the episode, obviously, was this whole team situation
Right.
and Malik wanting to be the quarterback again and what that boy name?
I forgot like all about that. Like I forgot that he was
Quan. Yeah,
I forgot that he was sidelined.
Well,
and I
because
forgot
they
all
don't, they don't address, like they don't do as much with them being
with the team.
with the team that they used to. Like that's secondary almost now.
Can I add something?
Sure.
The stadium, we talked about it. It was the Atlanta Falcons stadium because if you notice, all the seats were red. And typically in a stadium,
Georgia Dome.
yeah, and typically the stadium seats usually match the team colors, and the Sabres colors are blue and white. So I was a little.
Maybe they should have just used a high school. Well, I guess then it wouldn't look like a
Well,
big.
you know what? There's ways to cheating a big arena for a smaller space. We didn't need to see the entire
thing. They should have just
Right.
covered the ones that
you
we
could
shot.
could have even used the Atlanta Braves field. I think that would have been a
That
better.
probably would have been a better idea.
But you know, I'm not into production, so.
Look at you judging.
My-
Well, we've had a problem from jump with the location
Right.
scouts,
Right,
Because
yeah.
the locations are. I mean, the closest thing they did, I think, successfully was picking Evander Holyfield's house.
Yeah.
But everything else, like, it doesn't
Right.
look
Right.
anything like San Diego.
Diego
It doesn't,
or-
like, it doesn't at all.
Yeah.
And they did the same thing last season.
Well, they
obviously.
did. I mean, there was the one shot of them in the locker room, which was it looked like what they looked like when they were shooting in the studio on CW. So I mean,
Well, maybe
that
they
was
built it in somebody's studio.
that they should be building sets all over the place then. And there's got to be some kind of studios because they shoot CNN. I mean,
Of course, they're shooting.
They shoot
they're
things-
shooting some stuff
there's
in
gotta be
studio, but they're
studios.
choosing to shoot on location because they
It's
think
cheaper,
that's good.
probably cheaper.
I wonder.
I
Because don't you have to pay? Then you have to pay for permits, and you have to well, I guess it's
Well,
already all there, but
well,
and all you're bringing
probably
in
it's
is
cheaper
lights.
to shoot. I mean, I'm sure they get tax breaks.
Yeah.
With the sets, but I mean, if you shoot in like an audience, setting, I think that might be just as. I don't know. I don't know.
Nonetheless, how do you feel about Quan?
Who is Quan?
Quan is the quarterback.
Oh,
I had totally forgotten about him.
I did too.
Everybody wants to. You know, remember last season at the end, if you can, because I know we try to block it out mostly because it wasn't so awesome. But at the end, I only remember a little bit about Quan, and I remember him coming in like, I'm the Negro in charge. And I feel like they've done nothing with that energy whatsoever this season.
No.
And the little bit that they tried to do this episode with him, like instructing Derwin, just came across weak. And I'm just,
Well,
it didn't
I
work
don't think
for
we
me.
can expect him to do much on a new character when we're still waiting for all our old characters and the energy to come back. So I'm glad they're keeping him aside.
You know what I would
Work on our characters now.
what I would like to see, and it would take like 5 seconds to do a quick recap before every episode to catch us up on because that
You and your recaps, Kenny.
you know why? Because I watch a lot of TV and
Me too, boo.
this has been off the
forget
air forever and a day, and I forgot about that whole character. I'm like, where did he come from? And
Well,
what
that's
is
why
his
they
relationship?
did super reruns before it premiered, and you were supposed to watch them if you have.
If
a
I didn't
little
like
bit
it the first
slow
time,
brain.
there's no way I'm gonna watch it the second
Kenny,
time.
gosh, you're so negative.
Like I would go back and watch the first 3 seasons.
I do too. I watch them when they rerun.
Yeah.
I like them.
Do they rerun them on?
Occasionally on BET, there'll be
Oh, okay.
reruns, the other ones. I mean, not right
well,
now, I don't think,
hello?
because of the new season on, but like previously they would.
Yeah.
I would watch it like
Whole
I.
You would think
There's
someone
only one
sitting
other show
there.
that I watch like that, and that's Sex and the City.
And you would think someone sitting there, why isn't the show like it used to be?
We all are, but
No, I'm just saying that somebody at BET should be saying, why can't
I'm
the
sure they are.
And I think they're trying to work.
BET, call us.
I just can't imagine that they're
questions.
not trying. And I hate that every week we sit here like, we want it to be what it used to be. Because I just want it to be better. Like, it's fine if it's different a little bit, but it should be better.
You know, that's what I'm saying. I mean,
and it's not better.
If it was like 10 times better than what it is, I would not be complaining.
But we're not going to keep complaining. We're going to be constructive because you never know.
Well, enjoy the little that they give us. And I feel like they gave us a lot.
I want to enjoy
today.
all of it, though.
Okay. I understand, Kenny. We're working on it, though.
Did I must have fell asleep or watched a different episode than you two, obviously.
No.
Well, I think that you're just being very judgmental.
I
think that if you watch some of the dramatic episodes from the first 3 seasons, and there's only a couple, I can think of like 3 that really had that tone that they tried to go for today. And I'm not saying they were completely successful in achieving what they achieved in those episodes, but I do think that it's closer than the crap that I was seeing earlier, especially like the stuff surrounding the drug situation and all of that. So I like where they were going. I don't feel like they quite got there, but I still feel like that was good. Good steps in the right direction, I guess is the right way to say that.
You know what? I almost kind of want them to, because we don't have Kelly and we don't have Jason every episode. I kind of want another set of characters.
Well, that's why I feel like they didn't do what they should have done with Quan. I think that would have, his energy, if it was right, it could have been a real, and it would have given us something more than just Derwin being a jerk to Melanie to work with. Like, if we knew he was at work and dealing with the bull, and if we saw more of what he was like doing on the field with him in a different settings, even though they tried to show it when Derwin was like, you want to go out to dinner with us or whatever that was a couple episodes ago. Like, if they did more with that and built him up to be a bit, because I thought he was going to be like a big like ego
arsehole.
A-hole.
And Derwin's baby mama.
To make, and she's coming back, looks like, but it's been too long without her.
That's like where the drama is.
Where are we? Episode 6?
Yes.
Come on.
It's like, come on.
22 of them.
We saw her in the
That's
one.
no excuse.
That's no excuse because they should have her filtered throughout because that's his son.
At the beginning, though?
She was, but only for that birthday scene, like 2 second, like, oh, you go get the cupcakes and not take a picture with us. So she needs to come back, but I think that's going to happen. So anyway, this episode finished up with the team. They tried to bring Malik back, basically, and it turned into a big bust. And this team owner, I must say, is that Michael Beach?
Michael Beach, yeah.
Okay, see, I can't ever look at him the same since I saw Soul Food and I saw his butt cheeks. So I understand. Like,
he was getting it, though.
I'm already biased. Like, I just can't deal with him. And ever since his line last season where he was like,
I'm gonna get you or something.
It was just the worst attack line ever. I just don't buy him in this authority. And then the girl sitting on the couch that's a Megan Good lookalike. Like, I was so.
I had to look at her twice.
So that was the part at I laughed and it wasn't really funny
because it was ridiculous.
Because it was after they had their altercation and everyone left the room. We were on Michael Beach, and then they cut to her real quick for a reaction shot, and she was just sitting there, and I thought it was hilarious. That was the funniest part of the episode for me.
But it was funny for you because it was awful. Like, she had no reaction, and she's an actor, and she's supposed to be giving us something, and we got nothing.
And I kind of want to blame the editors because if you don't get a performance out of if you can't build a performance from someone, just completely leave it out. I mean, there's no excuse.
Why did they shoot that at all?
Exactly.
But in the end, the team leaves, and the only thing that really happened is that it's proven that Quan is the man and that Derwin is now on his list.
The side bitch.
So he was very upset. He runs to his car, and as expected, he dismisses Melanie like the hot piece of garbage that he treats her most of the time. And she's all depressed because she sees TT and Tasha Mack about to go get their party on together, having a good time because they family. So the other big point of the episode was the conflict still between Melanie and Tasha. And Kenny, you said you didn't like that they were trying to rebond. Well,
I just think it was out of left. I must have fell asleep at one point during the commercial.
You need to lay off them Red Bulls.
Well, and that's I had a Red Bull. I did have a Red Bull before I came too.
You know, when Derwin came out running and he sees Melanie, I felt the same thing he probably felt. I was just like, shut up. You always make things
annoying.
Worse. So it's just like, I would feel the same way. Like, I'm getting in my car, I'm going, you're just going to make me feel worse.
And that's what I like, though, because I think that was a throwback to something that's been going on consistently in their relationship from jump. So I was like, yay, writers, good moment. I thought that was a really good moment. And I thought her being alone was a great moment because she has set herself up to be in this position.
Exactly.
And she's been doing that for a very long time.
You
And
know
I-
what it reminded me a lot of, since we were mentioning past episodes, when she comes back after Dervin has been begging her and he comes back home and she comes back with that little teddy bear to say, I do want you back. I want to try it with you. She knocks on that door and opens, and it's Derwin with Janelle, who just told him I'm pregnant. And he's looking at her like, get
The worst timing
away
ever. You
from
have the
me.
worst timing
And
ever.
she's like so confused, but there you go again. It's all over again. It's always like that.
There's always something that she doesn't quite get or fit perfectly and
So sad.
brings them apart. And it is very sad. But I actually felt it too. That's why I thought it was good. Like it made sense to me. It made sense to the relationship that they've had over the years, and it worked for me. That's why I'm sad, Kenny. I wanted you to feel it.
It's just I don't know. I just can't get
It just into
didn't
work?
No.
No, just
Even the
didn't
whole
work.
beginning with the whole Star Jones.
Well,
thing.
that was awful. Okay, I'm gonna say this right now. Game. I understand that y'all on BET now. You are, supporting and trying to cater to your Black audience, but all these random cameos just for the sake of a
having
cameo drives me insane. Because all it does, it takes you out of
the show.
The show, because you're like, that's Star Jones, like, and she's being annoying, and then they were being annoying. It just didn't work. I'm tired of seeing it. I want it to stop. And I know y'all already shot everything. There's nothing that can be done about it. And I'm sure we're about to get some more that we don't want to see. But it's just like when they had Sheree in it last season for no reason, and she did nothing to it just takes you out of, I want to be in this world. It's just like when the reason we're fans is because we believed the world. We were committed to the characters, and throwing Star Jones in there does not make me believe this world anymore.
Well, the thing that didn't work is that she's giving a quote unquote serious interview with him, but it's either gonna have to be funny, like go over the top, or serious. And she said something about his wiener and that was, and his
dumb.
reaction was more of a serious reaction, and it just didn't. I think that pulled me out of the entire episode because I was like, really?
And that was the opening, so it was
yes,
like,
exactly.
Here we
so,
go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I completely agree on that.
Yeah, I think that's why I was completely out.
I'm done with the unnecessary cameos.
Right.
Completely done.
Yeah.
In case that wasn't clear. You were in the bathroom. I guess you missed that.
No, I saw her when I came
didn't.
out, and I feel like if they're gonna do that, then do it with people that would actually interview sport players. I don't think she does that.
That's a
It
good
makes
That
point.
makes
sense,
very
you
much
know?
sense.
Yeah.
So
That's a good point.
Good
Or
point.
make it
See
funny,
why.
or like
It
go
should've-
over the top.
Exactly. Like, let it be Star Jones, like being crazy and
Right.
whatever to make us laugh. Like, I didn't know what to do. I was like, and I don't like Star Jones after Celebrity Apprentice last
I
year.
know,
So I'm just
right?
like, garbage.
I
don't
wish
know. I didn't know
Nene
what
would
to
have
do.
bossed her in her face.
Yes.
I was waiting on that.
And see, Nene, I accepted though,
Right.
Because
Yeah,
I feel like
it
she
makes
threw
sense.
herself into that, like what that was supposed to be, and she and Tasha worked together to me well, so it didn't take me out of what they were trying to do.
Right.
The Star Jones thing, I was like,
Right.
bring Rick Fox back.
oh yeah.
No, he's too busy doing
He's
drag
got
race.
big things going on. Oh, but isn't he on something else too? He has a series regular, recurring role on
That's
something.
just like Megan Good too. She's on
Californication.
Mm-hmm. I missed
Oh.
that, but I saw a few
Getting
episodes.
real naked all the time. I bet that's why Curtis ain't here right now.
with David.
Yeah,
Good for her.
Anywho.
We haven't gotten that far yet. We're only on
No.
season 4.
Yeah.
Well, we shouldn't be discussing that either.
Y'all talking about other shows. Anyway.
No, not for that reason, for work reasons. Moving along.
Moving along. So anyway, Melanie and Tasha are not able to circle it back up, which I liked, even though I said like, I think last week or maybe the week before, that I hate them fighting. Like, I'm ready for them to get back together. I like that they don't just throw them back together. I like that it sounds like there's some shadiness about how Melanie's trying to get back together, because that means they can eventually get back together, but then the reality of why they got back together will eventually come out, and that'll cause
then
another
that-
problem, and
yeah.
and so they have stuff to build on. So I appreciate that.
I'm kind of over it now.
Over what?
The
exactly?
whole them fighting. I want them to go ahead and get back
Yes.
together. Okay, we're 6 episodes in.
But there's got to be some drama
Yeah.
to continue
and then it wouldn't
the mess.
be it wouldn't be honest, because the way Tasha works, if you mess with her family or her money, that's it.
Oh, I know.
It's true.
Bring Kelly Pitts back.
That's not an option until next year, boo-boo. So we've already
Let's
accepted
stick
that.
with our characters.
Move on. Except,
Did you mean bring Brandy back? The next
I would love to know how they're going to pull that off, though.
Is she coming back for sure?
I mean, supposedly, if they get renewed, I mean, that's what the word on the screen is, but who knows? But anyway, we're not talking about that. So, Melanie, Tasha, it doesn't work out, and we end the episode with Melanie crying and Isabel checking herself out in her
Sorry,
phone.
I'm something in my eye.
She got an
totally called
early
you out on that.
Valentine's Day gift.
She's like, ooh,
Okay.
it was early, and I got to get ready for later because I got some more to go. Anyway.
Dumb.
Anyway,
No.
so that
Hanging
was...
from your ear.
Oh, nasty.
Something about Mary.
This
Remember
is
that?
so not appropriate conversation for web. Anyway, so we've concluded our episode. That's what went down. We leave the episode with Melanie sobbing in the car, which is heartbreaking, but so amazing because I can remember the sobbing at the end of the episode when she found out Derwin was cheating on her.
Yes.
The sobbing at the end of the episode when she found out that Derwin was going to stay with his baby mama and try to make it work. And I just felt like, greatness comes in threes, and here's number 3. So on that note, we're going to cut to a commercial break, and we'll be back.
AfterBuzz TV.
Hi, I was once like you, a lazy, angry loner whose only joy was watching TV and surfing the net. And like you, after I'd see one of my favorite TV shows, I'd be so excited and have so many questions that I'd actually have to talk to my douchebag coworkers about it at the water cooler. Then I discovered AfterBuzzTV.com. AfterBuzz TV produces after-show webcasts and podcasts for TV series of all kinds, like post-game wrap-up shows for all your favorite TV shows. AfterBuzz TV hosts are industry insiders who break down episodes of shows, take calls from fans, and interview cast and crew from each series, with over 60 different after shows, from Boardwalk Empire to American Idol to Vampire Diaries to Real Housewives, and more. Now, after a night of TV, I can ignore my stupid coworkers, who I hate, and go straight to my desk and watch or listen to all my favorite AfterBuzz TV after shows, and have all the TV fan interaction I need. Thank you, AfterBuzz TV.
AfterBuzz TV. What do you want to buzz about?
I feel like I should be wearing like lingerie during that.
I know, right? After the interview, you're like, this is like some kind of like one of those weird like bad
Or-
porn shop
I was
commercials
gonna say, or like
that are like local
Skinamax.
commercials. Skinamax back in the day. Is it still considered Skinamax?
I used to work for them.
Because you're a dirty boy.
No.
Even
you
on
the plumber?
Valentine's
No,
Day.
no, no, I didn't actually
Were
work
you
for
showing your
them.
skins?
I was working behind the scenes of them.
That's why. Were you the one?
You were like a body double or something? What? I don't understand.
No. Let's move
Anyway,
on.
we're moving on. We just have a quick special topic, and I don't even know that it will be an actual full topic. But what I do find interesting is that I'm obviously every week I'm reading about different stuff about the show and looking for news and gossip and that kind of stuff. And I've come across so many fan blogs / comments that are so angry about the way that the women are portrayed on the game now. And we've touched on it a little bit in the past, and then I thought it was interesting in this episode after having read some very irate comments this week about the portrayal of Brandy and why she even exists as a character and all this stuff. And then they say in this episode, I think Derwin was the one saying it to Melanie, kind of joking, but maybe not. He mentions that women are the reason that their gender has not been able to rule the world, basically, because they're catty and don't get along. So I'm just interested in how you guys feel about the way that the writers are portraying the women in general and that little bit of a comment.
I agree.
Of course you do. I kind of knew you would say that.
You know what? Okay, so the whole why is Brandy's character the way she is? I think they try. There's so many things that are falling through the cracks, and it's not just the writing, because I think the writing is not as I would never say that writing is bad, but I think that if you're gonna write a character, I'm hearing bells. If you're gonna write a character, then it's the casting director's job to cast it properly. And I don't think that Brandy, I love her on being on the show, just not in that role. You know what I mean?
But why not?
Yeah. Do you mean her?
I think because
her as a
she is not that actor. She's not a, you know.
Isn't that part of being an actress though? Trying to go out there, and she's always been this sweet character.
The best that I can give is that like Halle Berry is this beautiful, you know, amazingly attractive woman, and then sometimes she plays gritty, unattractive characters, and she pulls it off really well, considering.
That was a bad example. You want to move on?
Can I have another one?
Yeah, please give us another one. I'm just not going to comment on it, but please give me another one.
Okay, Meryl Streep can do anything.
Meryl Streep can do anything.
And anyone.
But
And
everybody is not a Meryl Streep.
Well, and it's not just the actor's job to recognize that. It's also casting. It's also the director who directs these episodes with her in it. And someone even mentioned that she hired this acting coach.
Yes.
That didn't work. For me, it didn't work. You know what I mean? And this is all my personal.
Of course,
you know,
it's your
and,
opinion, and you're entitled to it.
So, okay, so back to the special topics.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring it back full circle.
You're gonna bring it back. Okay.
So
Before
you
I
know,
ask you anything else.
the women are portrayed the way. I'm gonna get shot for this. There's no easy way out of this. I'm trying to
just go for it, Kenny. We're at AfterBuzz. We're just chatting.
Black women have this. This is how.
Oh, dang,
It
now he
didn't
done
even
made
go
it
to
about
women.
black women,
Yeah.
y'all.
I'm just saying
even
this
go.
is. I don't want to say typical. I'm trying to find another word, but the writers are really harping on these stereotypes, and this happens to be one stereotype that is kind of prevalent in the Black community when it comes to women.
That one being?
They never get along. And the reason why they can't succeed, because they can't typically unite as one.
Do you think that is specifically characteristic of Black women or of women in general?
I would like to plead the fifth on that answer. No,
I mean, just based on your experience.
Based on my experience,
Which is,
yet again,
I mean, it's limited. It is whatever your experience has been.
I can see that it can be applied to all women, but we're dealing with BT and the Black community. I think it's very prevalent. My opinion.
I'm not saying anything. I'm just letting you
I just see darts coming.
No, you cannot possibly see darts. All you see are
That's
smiles
my opinion.
and hearts because it's Valentine's
Well,
Day.
and I love Black women. I really do. Some of them, most of them. A select
It's
few.
like my mom.
My mom. Thank you.
My sisters, my uncle.
No. I think that the show is trying to be as close to society as it possibly can, which I kind of don't agree with 100%. You know what I mean?
Why don't you agree
Well,
with
because
it?
like the whole Jason and his stereotypes with dating Black women, I think that those are all because it's not satirized. It's not. I mean, it's all one dimensional. The writing and the portrayal is all one dimensional, and I think that's what I'm trying to say with the whole Tasha and Melanie. They're feuding, and if they would unite, great things would come out of this whole situation. And I think one of the reasons why maybe the writers are keeping them separated is for shits and giggles. And I mean, if they always got along and blah, 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 then where would the show be? Because they are the only two female characters on the show. There's no Kelly Pitts. Because before there was a Kelly Pitts versus Tasha kind of thing. You know what I mean? So, I think my feet have been shot enough for one episode. So I'm just going to be quiet now.
Do you have anything to add, Isabel?
Well, I mean, I actually do believe that women in general are catty, but I can put it to a specific culture just because I'm not Black and my closest friends are Black.
You can or can't?
I can't.
Oh, okay.
Because it's, but I do believe it's in women in general, and I don't think they're being portrayed anything. That's just how women are. We can't really get along. It's always a competition, and it's not just, I don't feel like it's always just with women. We also compete against men. We also compete against our own family members. It's a thing where I just feel like that's how it's being portrayed, and that's how it is. But I don't think it has to do with Black women or Mexican women or white women. I see it in the workplace. I see it everywhere, and I see it on the show.
Where there's women, there's drama.
Where there's women, there's
Well,
drama.
but at the same
Emotional
time,
women,
at the
I think.
same
Emotional
time,
women.
at the same time, when shit goes wrong, a group of women, when they come together, great things come out of it, like out of tragedies and blah blah blah, as opposed to like a group of men. Not so much. You know what I mean?
You don't think so?
No, not so much. And I have an example, but I don't want to get into it because that's kind of like off topic. But I agree with what the bloggers and what people are saying about, you know, women in general. I kind of do. But that could be, I mean, even in the gay community, I mean,
It can exist.
yeah, and gay men typically are catty, and it's the same concept. So it's not just women in general.
So
It's basically
that
anybody
being
who gets
said,
done by men.
so what is our argument about what they're doing in terms of from a
The
writing
show?
perspective? Like, they're being fairly accurate according to what we're saying. Is it just that we only see that dimension of it? Is it that they're
It's
not doing
Very
enough?
It's very one-sided. There's not, I mean, there's so much there's not much you can do in a 20-minute episode. You know what I mean? And unfortunately for this show, in 6 episodes there's a lot that you can accomplish, but it hasn't been accomplished as far as the writing and the portrayals of the women. Can it be done? Yes. Can, you know, I don't know. It's just,
How do you think about that, though, in terms of what it was before? Because previously, yes, Tasha Mack was the ghetto woman, whatever.
Right.
And then there was Melanie, and then there was the white girl dating the black dude. Do you have the same feelings, though, about what they had been doing in the first 3 seasons as to what they're doing right now? Because I don't feel like I have the same complaints.
wait, you don't have the same complaints?
I don't feel like I have the same complaints about what they used to do versus what they're doing right now.
Because I think what they used to do was more on the lighthearted, you know, side. Whereas now it's just like, you know, Tasha is calling her heifer and like all kinds of names,
But
like
she used to do that.
No, but it was more. It felt more on the lighthearted, like.
But why?
I
did it
guess
feel more
I think it's because of the
lighthearted?
tone of the show. I think
You think the tone of the
I
show
think the
changed
tone.
it?
Yeah, I think because the tone of the show has changed. You know.
Interesting. I'm just asking actually because I was reading these things and I'm just trying to figure out why it bugs me now when it didn't bug me before. Because the reality is they've always played on certain stereotypes. They
Right.
played on Tasha being from the hood and being ghetto. They played on the goofy white girl that will do anything for her black man, which is
Right.
why they're together.
Right.
They, you know, Melanie was the good hair, like smart girl from
Right.
a light skin, like smart, well-educated, rich, upper middle class family dating like a scrub in their family's eyes. So they've played on those stereotypes before, and I was just trying to figure out in reading all this stuff, it made me wonder, like, well, what is it really? Because we're complaining about the way that they play the stereotypes now, especially with Brandy and Chardonnay character. But why is that different for us now when it wasn't before? Because Jazz was ghetto in the first few, the stripper that is now married,
Right.
and even I believe it was Karen Ward's character. I can't remember her name, but the fighting with the boyfriend and the snapping black girl, like I'm gonna steal all your, and I'm gonna cut your tires, and I'm gonna do like that stuff existed before, and it felt honest, and I knew those people. And I felt okay with it, but something changed, and now something's not okay about it, and
feel
I
like
haven't been able to figure out exactly what that is.
Maybe because it's forced now.
You feel forced.
And not only that, it's also like the show isn't as fresh as it was before, and I think that's typical of any show. I mean, there are some shows that will go on seasons, 8, 9 seasons, and it still feels fresh. Whereas we're in season 5 of this show, and I think nothing is.
Do we think it's run its course and it's? Because I also thought, even though this is kind of leaping from the topic that we have, I mean, the average pro athlete's career, I think, is only like 3 to 4 years.
Really?
And granted, there are those, obviously, Eli Manning, Peyton Manning, like that,
Right.
go on and on and on and on. But on average, like that's sort of their span, I believe.
Right.
And at this point, if they're keeping it honest, because they kept with the sort of timeline that's going on, like, yes, Jason is gone, but the reality is maybe Malik should be gone too.
Right.
And even Derwin is on the downside of his whatever. So where can they go with this if they continue anyway?
You know, and this brings up an interesting, it's funny that you mentioned that, because as soon as you were thinking that, my mind automatically went back to the Cosby Show. Whereas when it first started, Rudy was the cute little little kid, and as she got older, they had to bring in another cute little kid
to keep playing that.
Yeah. So I wonder if maybe they should bring in a younger generation of characters to like. Even like Grey's Anatomy, something like Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah, but that's how they keep the dramas going, because they can bring in
younger.
But can they do that with a sitcom?
No.
It can be done.
Well, they're trying, and here we are talking about. I don't think they fit in there. So
but
I don't.
But
know
that's
how
also though, because as I say, like with Quan, they didn't play him. We haven't.
Right.
It's episode 6, and we don't know anything about him for real.
Right.
Is he married?
We don't know.
We don't know.
We don't even know if he's
And see,
straight.
my thing is, I mean, it could be as simple as Tasha Mack finding another young talent
to bring up.
in,
Yeah.
and he's just outrageous and young, and now Malik is like the mentor, and like, you know, circle of life. You know, it would keep the show fresh. You know what I mean?
And I kind of wonder too, when I was thinking about it, is it just that energy is dead, and they needed to sort of branch out and not stick with just these characters?
Certain shows they know when it's over. Like, not over, but they know when it's, you know, either they need to regroup and start new.
It's kind of like Glee. Like, they have to let those kids graduate.
Exactly.
Like Beverly Hills 90210, the old one, because I don't watch that new one.
No.
Right.
They had to graduate.
Even like Saved by the Bell was like, okay, these kids haven't graduated yet. It's like 9 episodes.
That's why they had to go to the college years. Anywho, that's just more things to sort of marinate over, and I'm glad you guys were sharing with me, and we'll continue the discussion, I'm sure, for the rest of the season.
That would have been a good
go.
question for Curtis, actually.
We'll continue to go. I'm thinking it's going to come up again, because as we go along these 22 episodes, as much as we talk about how ratings and whether they'll get another season, I actually started in my thought process of looking over the stuff. Where can they really go in another season?
I've given my free suggestion, so
on that note,
I better get a credit in that thing.
Scoot it on over to a little news and gossip.
AFTERBUZZ TV News.
And I'm just going to pull it up here on my mobile device.
Let me read along while you do that.
I forgot to email you this week. I had some family stuff going on. I didn't get around to it.
Okay.
All right, and it's pretty light this week anyway. So today on Valentine's Day 2012, our ratings tracker, in its 5th week on the air, The Game dropped 0.2 of a point from last week to a 1.4 in the adult 18 to 49 demographic. And they finished 4th for the evening in their time slot, behind Teen Mom 2, Tosh.0, which they fell behind last week because it was a premiere, and The Big Bang Theory on like TVN or something. So I guess they include like reruns.
Oh, that's not good.
Like, I don't know how that went down, but yeah. So
well, Teen Mom, she does Teen
Mom
so
2. I mean, Teen Mom 2 is like a powerhouse.
Yeah.
Of hot garbage, but I watch it.
Kind of sad that they fell behind reruns of The Big Bang Theory.
Yeah.
Or all the other.
It's kind of hard because that's like the cable network ratings, and they were behind. So that's rough. But I mean, you know, they're kind of up and down actually, like because they went up last week, but then they had dropped the week before. So it's in the end, maybe I guess it's kind of leveling out. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But that's all I got for the game this week. But I do have exciting brown people in entertainment news as usual.
Brown people news.
I love that. It's so funny. It's like brown. Okay, anyway. So on the birthday of legendary artist Bob Marley, the Magnolia Distribution Shingo has announced the acquisition of Kevin McDonald's documentary Marley, which will now premiere in theaters and on VOD and digital platforms in theaters April 20th. Yep, that's right. 420 release for the Bob Marley documentary.
How appropriate.
How appropriate.
And speaking of which, Lauryn Hill is performing tonight, and that's kind of a tie-in.
Boo. I wonder if
What do
our
you mean, boo?
fellow AfterBuzzer Kendra Kabasele, I think is how you say her last name, she was talking about going, and I was like,
Girl, we could have gotten tickets on Groupon.com.
Look, I
sold
dream
her tickets on
about the
Groupon.
return of Lauryn Hill, which we will talk further as we go into brown people news further. I dream about her pulling it together. But that woman,
She's still alive though, Courtney. So
I know.
we have to give
but that's what I'm saying. The hope is still there. I hope she pulls it off. But nonetheless, this documentary is actually supported by the family, which is the first one that it has ever happened. Like they have never been behind any of the documentaries coming behind them.
Right.
And it was executive produced with Chris Blackwell alongside his son Ziggy Marley. So that'll be out April 20th. Check it out. I'm a fan of Bob Marley and everything around that life. That whole family is very interesting because they are an interesting clan. So that'll be in theaters for you on April 20th. And apparently, there's going to be an intriguing reboot of the Alex Cross franchise featuring Tyler Perry as the detective once played by Morgan Freeman. And it will get its start on October 26th. Summit Entertainment announced today Freeman had played the main character from James Patterson's best-selling novels in Kiss the Girls in 1997 and Along Came a Spider in 2001. And the casting of Perry, most famous for his playing laughs in his Medea films, has raised eyebrows while also raising hopes that he might be able to introduce the character to a much broader audience.
Okay, so why do we need Tyler Perry to get to those that aren't brown?
I found this very interesting.
I find it dumb.
I found it interesting. I don't know if it's smart or dumb, but I found it interesting. Tyler Perry. I mean, did you ever see any of those movies? Kiss the Girls or Along Came a Spider?
No, yes.
Okay. It made me kind of excited because sadly, and I don't want to say this out loud because I appreciate and respect what he does, but I would actually like to see him just act for a little while and maybe
just act.
Produce.
Yeah.
But he's always
No, because
movies.
well, this is my problem. There are so many great actors out there, and
See, I feel like, okay, so in his movies, the marriage movies,
Yes.
I personally feel like as a performer, he has more range and more that he could show us, more than I want to see him write and direct. And that's just me, obviously, like, producing is different. That's, whatever. But I would like to see where he can go from an actor perspective.
Really?
And I think it would be interesting. I would prefer it, actually.
I would prefer him to hire someone else.
Well, I don't know if
Like
he is
Anthony
actually
Mackie
behind
or,
it. I don't know how much he's behind it in terms of if he's writing it, if he's doing. I hope that it's.
I'm sure his foot is all.
Yeah,
is in
but
it.
that-
there's already a bill. I saw a billboard of this, and I was wondering what it was.
No. That's the new movie he's got. You talking about
So
the one
he
with?
wrote it and he's in it too?
That's the one you're talking. That's something different. I know what you're talking about. The one he's about to come out with.
That's
with
called
Thandie Newton.
Good Deeds.
Good Deeds with Thandie
he's
Newton. He
in it.
wrote, produced, directed, and
And
acting
acted.
in it.
Yeah, that's
which
what I was
it's a
looking
drama.
And it looks boring.
Stop it, Kenny.
Sorry, my
I don't think
opinion.
it looks boring. I think it could be an interesting story. I don't know if I buy him yet, but I want to see him act.
I want to see more black actors aside from him be on screen.
I would like to, but I mean, in the end, that could be an open door for more black actors. You don't know, especially if he has his foot all over it. So I don't know.
We already know that he has power and he can do things.
But right now, he has power in his world. He's not really, because he has separated himself and done it himself. Like,
No, I know that.
So and that's why there's all this argument with the new movie with the marriage counselor. Oh, I put Kim Kardashian in it. He's opening himself up to others and the rest of the world, which may open doors for other things. Like, you never know. I don't know. It was interesting. We'll see. Oh, Kenny. One day, honey, you're going to be all positive and you're going to be like, me and Tyler Perry are BFF.
Well,
it's going to be great.
Give me a job, Tyler.
Nonetheless,
I'll come
he's a talented man and a successful man.
And he looks good in
all the
drag.
best. I wish him all. I don't think he looked good.
He
in
should
drag.
be on RuPaul's Drag Race.
Anyway, so
He should be a
this
guest
week
judge.
we have congratulations back out again to Miss Octavia Spencer because she won the BAFTA award over the weekend, which is awesome. And also out to Denzel Washington for taking in $40 million this weekend with his movie Safe House.
Right on.
He did it, but it was second to The Vow, which I laughed my butt off.
I heard it was fine.
It was like 41, and they like made almost 40, and The Vow made like 41.3
People are
million.
in love, huh?
People are in love and want to go see The Vow. Happy Valentine's Day to you all. And of course, here's my only platform real quick. We got a few minutes left. We all know what happened on Saturday. Some of you may not care. Some of you may think it's getting too much coverage. I don't know, but we here in the Brown People News have to mention and say a little something about the passing of Miss Whitney Houston.
Who? What?
Yeah. Can you believe it?
She died?
She passed away. However it happened, whatever it happened, I'm sure we're going to be hearing about it for all eternity and forever. But I am just going to say, because this is my only place to say it other than Facebook and Twitter, which I was like on all night on Saturday because I was listening to the music. I am not a fan of almost anybody, really, except a couple of people. And Whitney Houston meant a lot to me. And she's one of those people, even though Kenny hates Britney Spears. She's one of those people that I rooted for and I hoped for, and I hope she was able to pull out of whatever she was going through and only shine, because she was gifted in ways that so few people are blessed to be gifted with on this earth.
I don't think no one can top her.
I don't think anyone can. They definitely haven't so far,
No.
and Lord knows the Grammy showed us that. So it just made me even more sad that she was like, I couldn't even watch the Grammys for real because I really honestly felt sadness. So many condolences out to her family. I have the utmost respect for Sissy Houston for making it a private funeral, and for all those fans out there saying, we're fans, we feel slighted. You're not slighted. You didn't know her. Those aren't you weren't her family. Like, they deserve to grieve in private and do whatever they have to do to get through it, because it sucks in like ways that I can't even express.
Yeah.
Because I know if it sucks for me like this, and I didn't even know the woman, it must be like horrendous for them. So I wish them the best. Prayers out there for Bobby Christina, because God knows, Lord, I couldn't lose my mama, and I'm 29, 34 years old. So
Which is it?
I couldn't remember. I just said that.
Really?
So hearts out. I loved you, Whitney. You made me. Y'all just don't know. I could go into a whole speech about how Whitney was like the regular black girl that made us black girls growing up in the 80s and 90s like feel okay with just being a black girl. Because back then, and even still now, you needed to be mixed to be cute. You needed to be a little something to this and that. Whitney was a regular black girl from New Jersey with amazing talent, and she shined. And God bless her, and hope she's somewhere in peace. Thank you. That is all I have to say. You guys need to chime in on anything.
It's in my news and gossip for RuPaul's Drag Race, so we'll talk about
it
in the
again.
next hour.
We'll talk about it again.
I mean, there's really nothing much I can say except it wasn't expected for me. It was actually I think I texted you first.
No, like really.
Just because I was like,
And my response was, Whitney who?
Yes.
She
Shocking.
texted me. She texted me, and I said, "Yep, it's
I
sad
was,
or
like,
something."
shocked.
I couldn't even deal with it.
I thought people were like lying to me.
And that's what I said when I first heard. I was like, "Oh, here we go, another Twitter lie, like whatever."
So I didn't, I didn't even know what. And it's somebody really close to me in the sense that when I was in Mexico, I wasn't here when her song, which we all know,
I will always love you,
would play on the radio. And
even the Mexicans were listening.
In Mexico. So we all knew who this person was. We don't hear from anyone else. I don't. So it was very touching. My mom knew who she was, and when I said, she passed, she couldn't believe it, and she was so young. And
it's sad.
To me, all that sticks is she left a daughter here, and that's what's.
Yeah, and that's in my heart, so heavy.
And I think, I think music is the universal language, and just like Michael Jackson and even Amy Winehouse is,
it's tragic.
Just that spirit and that energy and that voice, it's just
was miraculous.
Yeah.
Was miraculous.
Yeah.
And let it all. I'm not commenting on how she died, because obviously we still don't know.
Right.
But people, prescription drugs are drugs.
Yeah. Bottom line.
Bottom line, just because your doctor gave hell, Advil is a drug. Hell, Tylenol can do things to you that you don't want to happen. Like, we are so confused about that kind of stuff. Like, people stop, because stuff like that should never happen. But anyway, that is our episode of The Game. Yeah, Kenny might need to get on some
there are some people that need
real
it.
quick.
Some people need to stay away from it.
But that is our episode for The Game this week. Thank you so much for joining us. You can find us on Twitter at AfterBuzz TV. You can find me on Twitter at Stuart Starlet, and you can still search for Kenny. You'll find him eventually. And thank you for joining us.
I know what it is.
Happy Valentine's Day. You can go to my Twitter page and find Kenny because I did. He tweeted me or something.
He
I
found
him.
you.
I found Kenny. So come to my page and look for and you will find Kenny. So thank you guys. Have a wonderful, wonderful Valentine's night.
You're gonna get it.
From producers Kevin Undergaro and Phil Svitek, engineer DJ Jesse Janity, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. If you have questions or comments, be sure to buzz us at info@AfterBuzzTV.com. And you can find us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter by searching for AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.